I will give you different ways in which you can attempt each of the sections in the CAT paper, the different attempt strategies that you can use for each section. And the next thing that you have to do after this video is go and attempt mocks with each of these strategies. Whichever strategy works the best for you, stick to that. Remember, CAT exam is as much about attempting the paper smartly as it is about preparation. Unlike JEE exam or UPSC exam, where most of the thing is done through preparation, for the CAT exam, a lot of things are decided on the day of the examination itself, the way you attempt the paper. So do watch this carefully. So let's start with the quant section, probably the easiest to explain in terms of attempt strategies because not a lot of variations can be done here. So first I'll explain my strategy, what used to be my strategy for solving this section, but only use this strategy if you're really good at quant section. What I used to do was I used to go sequentially. That is, first question, if I see that I'm able to solve it, I'll solve it then and there. Then go to the next question, second question, if I'm able to solve it then and there, then third, then fourth, and so on. Whichever question I'm able to solve, I will solve it then and there. And the reason that I used to do was we used to have 34 questions at that time, and I knew through the mocks that I will be solving at least 29-30 questions out of those 34. So just for those 4 or 5 questions, I will not go through round 1, round 2, round 3 and waste my time in judging the difficulty of a question, because I know if I'm able to solve a question, I will solve it then and there. Only in case I think that I'm not even able, I have given 30 seconds, I'm not able to understand how to start that particular question, then I will leave that. Or if I think that I've spent like 30 45 seconds, but then I realize there's a lot of calculation to be done and it will take me probably 3 minutes, more than 3-4 minutes, then probably I will keep that for later. I'll mark it for review and I'll keep it for later. But if I think that I will be able to solve it in less than 3 minutes, I've started solving it and it will take me maybe another 2-3 minutes to solve it, I will solve it then and there. So you can use this strategy only if you also think that you're going to solve majority of the questions. For example, you have 22 questions in the quant paper. If you think that you will be able to solve and you're regularly solving 16-17 questions in the quant paper, then you can go ahead and use this strategy. Just go sequentially. Whichever question you're able to solve it then and there. Whichever question you think is taking a lot of time, you can mark it for review, and whichever question you're not even able to start after 30 seconds, then probably leave it. If time permits, you can come back to that later. However, next, if you think that you're not very good at quants, you are well prepared, however still quant is not your strongest section, and on an average you're attempting like 11-12 questions in your mocks, then you can attempt the paper round wise, round 1, round 2 and round 3. So what you exactly do is, in round 1 you will solve the very easy questions. Those are questions that you have solved in the past and you know that the exact method of solving it, or some question that is a direct formula based approach. So you can solve those questions in round 1. Maybe out of the 22 questions, 4 or 5 questions you will definitely find in the paper that you have solved in the past, or it's a formula based approach, so you can solve it then and there. So you will very quickly go through all the problems. If you think that yes, it's a similar problem, solve it. If you think no, it's not a similar problem, then you can go ahead. So that's your round 1, very easy questions. If you're kind of well prepared, then probably in the first 10 minutes you should be able to solve at least 4 or 5 very easy questions. After that you will go to round 2, that is questions which you have not solved in the past. So what you have done in round 1 is you have ensured at least some kind of a minimum percentile, that you know that you're not skipping any of the very easy questions. If you go sequentially, what will happen is you will skip some of the last questions that are there. The last questions you will not be able to attempt, and it might happen that some of the very easy questions are there at the end. So that's why you will attempt those questions in round 2 which you think are from your comfort area, that is a comfortable topic. Maybe you're good at arithmetic, so you can solve it from there. You're not so good at geometry, so you will skip that particular question. Or you think that yes, it's kind of a question which you can solve, it might take time, but you can solve that in round 2 as well. So you will again go through round 2, and this is an area where you will target around 10 questions. Most of the time, I think 25 minutes you will give to round 2 only, or even 30 minutes. Most of the people will give 30 minutes to round 2 only, and round 2 is very similar to what I was doing in round 1 in the previous strategy, that is going through the questions sequentially. If I'm able to solve a question, I will solve it. If I think that no, I'm not able to start a question, or if I think that it will take a lot of time, then I will skip that question. So people will give 25-30 minutes to this round and probably solve another 8 questions, 9 questions in this particular round. Round 3, it's almost impossible to go to round 3 honestly, but in case you think that it can be done, round 2 has been done in say 20-25 minutes, then the last 5-6 minutes that you have, try to attempt one or two more questions of round 3. Another strategy that people follow is they go round 1, round 2, round 3. However, the way of selecting a question is very different. In round 1, they do not select the questions which they have attempted in the past. Rather, they choose the questions from a particular topic. For example, mostly it's arithmetic. You know that there will be at least 7-8 questions from arithmetic, so they choose and pinpoint all those questions which are coming from arithmetic and try to solve those. Then they go for maybe say algebra, which will have say another 6-7 questions at least, and solve the questions from algebra. Because, and these are usually people who have prepared at the last moment, have not covered all the topics equally, rather have focused on specific topics like arithmetic, algebra. And that's why round 1 they will attempt questions from a specific topic, maybe arithmetic. Round 2 is for algebra, and round 3 is for all the other questions from all the other topics which are very easy. If you have some formula based question from say geometry or number system, then they will go ahead and solve those. And this is also a very good strategy to follow in case you have prepared very selectively, especially if you have prepared arithmetic and algebra only in the last few months. Most of the questions will be from arithmetic and algebra. So if you can solve as maybe 14-15 questions from arithmetic and algebra you have, and out of that if you are able to solve 10-11 questions, it's a great strategy to follow. And I'm not going into the details, that is how many questions you should be attempting in round 1, round 2 and round 3 very specifically, because it can depend a lot on the difficulty of the paper. For example, in CAT 17, when I attempted the quant paper, I had attempted around 28-29 questions in quant out of the 34 questions, and in CAT 18 I ended up attempting only 21 questions out of 34. However, in CAT 17 I had 99.21 percentile, and in CAT 18 I had 99.91 percentile, and my quant percentile was also more in CAT 18 only. The reason was very simple, that CAT 18 paper was very difficult. Just because I had been attempting 27, 28, 29 questions every time in the mock does not mean CAT 18 I could have attempted the same number of questions. And I think my quant percentile was also around 99.6, 99.7 in CAT 18 by attempting just these 21 questions. So that's why you have to adjust depending on the merit of the paper, how difficult is the paper. If it is very difficult, then probably round 1 you will be able to solve only maybe say 2 or 3 very easy questions you will get, and round 2 you will be able to solve say another 7-8 questions. However, in case it is very easy paper, then you might be able to solve say 7-8 questions in round 1, and in round 2 then you will be solving say another 7-8 questions. So it can definitely depend on the difficulty of the paper, so take it as per the merit. However, try these strategies in your mock test. Either go sequentially if you think that your quant is very strong, try it round wise as well, very easy questions, then those questions that you are able to attempt, and then the very difficult questions, or you can go topic wise as well. So these 3 different strategies are there. Try it in your mocks and try to see which one works best for you. So to try out these strategies, you have to attend more and more mocks, and let me recommend you the partners of this video as well, iQuanta's AI based mock test series. That's the iCat, and the first mock here is absolutely free. So I will highly recommend you that you go attempt this mock. I'm pretty sure that you will like it as well. And if you purchase the full iCat mock test series, you will get 35 full length and 45 sectional mocks as a part of it. This is an AI based mock test series where once you attempt the mock, you not only get your strengths and weaknesses but actionable feedback भी मिलते हैं on how to strategize your preparation from there. कौन से topics ज़्यादा prepare करने हैं, कौन से topics कम prepare करने हैं, कौन से resources से prepare कर सकते हो to fill those gaps, and you can also fill your profile details based on your target percentile, and you will get a list of potential B schools that you can convert with your profile and target percentile. And obviously you will get your textual and video solution for each of these questions, which will be very, very useful. And I'll highly recommend you to go and attempt the first mock. At least you will come to know a lot about it. It's absolutely free. Everyone should attempt it. And if you're looking to enroll in a full-time coaching institution, then iQuanta has also launched its recent batch. Especially if you're a working professional who's not finding a lot of time to study during the day, then these classes will be conducted 12 to 2 a.m. midnight. So definitely you can attend this apart from the regular classes that you have. And they're also starting their crash course mid-September. So you can also join that if you want to cover the syllabus really, really fast. So I'll put all the links in the description and the pinned comment. And if you want to join iQuanta's free WhatsApp group where they are sharing free CAT resources and other information related to CAT, you can join that too. I will put the WhatsApp group link in the description and the pinned comment. You can join it from there. Now coming to the verbal section, there are specifically two strategies that people follow for verbal section. One is what I used to do was prioritizing attempts over accuracy, and some of the people prioritize accuracy over attempts. So what I used to do was, again, 34 questions for verbal section. I used to attempt almost 32 to 34 questions on verbal section 2. The idea was very simple for me, that whenever I attempted 25, 26 questions too, my accuracy was the same if I attempted 34 questions. That is, even if I attempt all 34 questions, have a 70% accuracy, my percentile will be very, very high. But if I attempt 20 questions and after that, suppose my percentile, my accuracy, percentage accuracy is 75, that does not help me. And that's why I used to prioritize attempts over accuracy. And how I used to do that, whenever I used to read the RCs very fast, if I'm stuck in a particular question and I think intuitively I'm stuck between two options and I think that I'm inclined towards one more option, I will not waste another 2-3 minutes over there. Rather, what I will do is I will mark the option and move ahead. Another strategy is you prioritize the accuracy. That is, you think a lot about a particular question unless and until you get all the hints from the passage to mark a particular option, you don't mark it. That can also work for some people. If you think that if you're rushing through, then you're reducing your accuracy, it can work for you. For me, it never used to work, especially because of the fact that whenever I used to overthink on a particular problem, I either ended up marking the same option, or what I did was I got it wrong. So that's why it's better for me that I don't waste a lot of time on the same question. Rather, I attempt more questions. So that's why whatever works for you, you have to test this through your mock strategy. Out of the 24 questions, if you're prioritizing attempts, then try to have at least 20 to 24 questions. And if you are prioritizing accuracy, then probably 14-15 questions you can try to attempt in the verbal paper, and make sure your accuracy is really, really high. But if you think that your accuracy is anyway 75%, if you're attempting 14-15 questions, and by solving say 20 to 24 questions, your accuracy has dropped to 70%, it still makes sense to prioritize the attempts. So make sure, try to understand how much percentage your accuracy is dropping by attempting more. If that is in your favor, then obviously go for it. Next, coming to the order in which you should be attempting the questions, what I used to do was all the RCs first and then the verbal ability question, because anyway I'm going to attempt all the 34 questions, so I'm not going to leave any RC as well. So I might do that, or in maximum what I used to do was, if I have to leave an RC, I used to leave one of the RCs which was a 3-question RC. So we used to have 6-question and 3-question RCs, so I used to leave one 3-question RC in case I think it's getting really difficult, it's a difficult RC, I will leave that for the end. Or in case I'm not able to solve it as well, then also out of the 34 questions, I will end up attempting 31 questions. Otherwise, if you think that your mind is getting fatigued by reading a lot, if your mind is not trained to read so many reading comprehension passages together, what you can do is one passage, then one verbal 2-3 verbal ability questions, then another passage, then another 2-3 verbal ability questions, and you can mix and match like this. It's completely fine, but the idea is very simple. If you are doing it this way, make sure you first prioritize that which is the RC that you're going to solve. There might be a very difficult RC, and you might, if you start with that RC, then you might leave a very easy RC at the end and you might end up skipping that. So what you have to do is, first of all, just go through the first paragraph of the RC or the first 2-3 lines of the RC, and whichever you think is an easy RC, easy to read RC, the topic is also something which you're able to understand clearly, choose those ones. If you think that there is a specific RC which is very difficult, then you can keep it for the end. And as far as time is concerned, you can think about it. If suppose you have to solve 4 RCs in 40 minutes and then the verbal ability 8 verbal ability questions, then 7 to 8 minutes per RC is what you should be targeting. After that, you will be left, if you take 8 minutes per RC, then you will be left with 8 minutes for the verbal ability questions, which is very, very difficult to have in just 8 minutes solving 8 verbal ability questions. But if you're able to solve the RCs in 7 minutes, that is 28 minutes that you have, then you have 12 minutes for solving 8 questions, which is a reasonable enough time. 1.5 minutes per question is a reasonable enough time. So that's why try to see what is working best for you. If you're prioritizing the attempts, then probably 7 minutes is something you need to target. However, if you're prioritizing the accuracy, then obviously you will not attempt, you will leave at least one RC. So you'll be solving 3 RCs. For those 3 RCs, you might end up taking say 30 minutes. Rest 10 minutes will be for your verbal ability. So these 2 ways you can strategize in case you're prioritizing attempts. Then 4 RCs, 7 to 8 minutes per RC, then another 8 to 12 minutes verbal ability question. If you're prioritizing prioritizing your accuracy, then you have to solve 3 RCs, and that would be around 30 minutes for 3 RCs and another 10 minutes for verbal ability questions. No matter how many you are able to solve in those 10 minutes, but the idea is the last 10 minutes can be for verbal ability. Next, DILR, and here you have to be really, really smart, because choosing one bad set can absolutely ruin your paper, and that's why you have to be very smart in choosing the right sets. So what I used to do here was, we used to have 8 DILR sets during my time, and I knew that I will be targeting around 4 to 5 sets. So in the initial part, that is initial few minutes, I used to scan the entire paper, and this is a strategy that everyone should follow. That is, in the suppose there are 8 sets, 10 to 12 minutes I used to spend on scanning all the sets, and I used to mark at least 2 sets which I'm not going to attempt, and at least 3 sets which I think will be easy and will be my first 3 sets, and 4th, 5th, 6th set I will decide later which one to attempt, which one not to attempt. So I used to start with set out of those first 3. I used to do the structuring and try to see whichever is the easiest, start with that, and then do the other 2 as well. Once I have that confidence of solving 2-3 sets, then I used to go to medium level sets, that is 4th, 5th, 6th, and I used to solve either 1 or 2 of them depending on how difficult or easy is the paper, how much is the time left. If it's a very easy paper, then only I can go to the 6th set. However, usually it never happened. It was 4 to 5 sets used to be a good target depending on the difficulty of the paper, and that's why first 3 sets I decided in the initial 10 to 12 minutes. Which 2 sets I'm not going to attempt, I decided in the first 10 to 12 minutes. After that, I solved the first 3 sets, and after that I decided which is the set I'm going to attempt among the 4th, 5th and 6th one. So what can be your strategy? Suppose you get 5 sets in your paper. If you're really good at DILR, then you might be targeting 3 or 4 sets. If you are kind of average, you might be targeting 2 sets, 2 to 3 sets. And if you are really bad, you just want to somehow clear the cutoff, you might be targeting 1 to 1.5 set. But remember, this depends on the difficulty of the paper. It does not mean 1.5 set would help you clear the cutoff. In case it's a very, very easy paper, it might be 2-3 sets as well. You never know. 2 sets, usually more than 2 sets it will never be, but definitely depends on the difficulty of the paper. But the idea is that if that's your paper, 5 sets, then in the initial 8 minutes you will try to understand those 2 sets which you are going to attempt, and in the beginning you are also going to mark out at least 1 set which you think is going to be very difficult. You don't know the topic, you don't have absolutely no clue about that particular set, so you will mark out that particular set. So the first 2 sets you will start solving. If you are really good at DILR, then probably you will be attempting the 3rd one as well, and out of that 3rd and 4th one you will decide and attempt 1 more. So this is going to be your strategy for the DILR section. Next strategy for DILR: if you think that you're not really good at judging whether you can solve a set or not without really putting pen to paper, and you will not be able to decide in the first 8 minutes itself that which is the set that you're going to solve, then you can start by structuring each of the sets. That is, you put some time to each of the sets, that is maybe 3 minutes, 4 minutes to every set. And once you realize that, okay, there is a set which is kind of very easy, I've structured it really, really fast and I will be able to solve this set, then solve it then and there itself. So the idea is very simple. If you think in the first, you're giving 3-4 minutes to every set. If you think that a set is very easy, you have structured it in less than say 2 minutes, and you should be able to solve it, then go and solve it then and there. At least that one set is out of the box. In case you think that none of the set is easy, then probably you will end up giving say around 15 to 20 minutes in just structuring each of these problems, and that's why you will be left with another 20 minutes in which you will be able to again if you give 10 minutes to a particular set, you should be able to solve it. So maybe you will be able to solve 2 sets with this strategy, but only use this, at least it's my recommendation, only use this if you're not very good at understanding which set you will be able to solve, which set you will not be able to solve. And that is also a skill that you need to develop through the mocks, that to understand which set you will be able to solve pretty fast. But in case that is not happening, try to give 3-4 minutes per set. If you think that it's a very easy set, you have structured it very fast, you have solved a similar kind of set in the previously as well, solve it then and there. Don't wait for looking at all the sets, because at least you have to get that one set out of the picture. And in case you think that you have to go through structure all the sets, then yes, it will take a lot of time. And what that also does is, once you suppose you have solved the structure the first set and then you have structured the 5th set, after 20 minutes you have forgotten as well what had happened in the first set. So that is, at least for me, it used to be very complicated, but if it works for you, great. In case you think that you are able able to judge a set better with this strategy, you can try it in 1 or 2 of your mocks. Try to give 3-4 minutes to every question, and in reading the every question properly, structuring and understanding how you will go about solving each of these questions, and after that only pick up any set to solve. So that's it from my side. I hope this attempt strategy is going to help you. Remember, only thing that can help you is practicing these strategies and understanding what works best for you. So just make a note of these strategies, and once you apply them in the mocks, try to see which mock you are able to perform better. I'm pretty sure that one of these strategies would be the one that you should be using, because it's a combination of what different toppers had used. So that's why try these in the mock. Whichever works best for you, you need to finalize that and then practice another, say, 7-8 mocks using the same strategy, so that you can solidify it even better. So that's it for this particular video. See you in the next one.